Greetings and welcome to my channel, From Shop Floor to Summit. This is the show where I document my journey from retail life to financial freedom. This is day 83. It is a Wednesday, it's the middle of the week. I have done more underwriting, although when I say that I've done underwriting, I can't really say that I feel like I know what I'm doing yet. I'm certainly entering in numbers for deals that I'm personally finding, but I'm realizing after listening to some podcasts and talking with different people that are in the community that I'm in, that it's I'm operating in a silo. So that's going to be really important for me to not only be consistent in underwriting deals, but it's also going to be super consistent in communicating with people. So I want to keep these short and sweet, and I do want to share a conversation that I had today, which should be insightful. So what did my day look like? My day was fairly normal. It was mixed in with some changes, which allowed me to not be so customer facing, which is nice to deal with. But nevertheless, if I'm in a situation where I have to deal with, customers from the beginning of my shift to the end, it's what's required of me. And that's what allows me to move forward and complete the day. I typically don't complain simply because I know that's what is, required of me for the job. And I know that this isn't permanent. So I'm just going to keep saying that because it is the truth. It's not permanent. I'm going to do all that I can with the abilities and power that I have and keep working with the time that I have to develop new skills. And that's the truth. So I would say it's about the middle of the day. It got a little challenging towards the end of the day because I just knew that I had other things that I needed to do. And yeah, just middle of the day, normal kind of day in the life of retail. How am I feeling? I'm feeling motivated. I am moving along with the days, and I'm kind of getting to the space where I don't really feel like the things that I'm doing matters, but I feel as though that I know that I should be communicating more with the people that are in my community. Community is going to be very important for you to build the team that you need in order for you to move on. You need a team of people that are doing the same things as you, a team of people that are rooting for you, that knows exactly what you're doing, give you insight, has the skills and in the space of doing what it is that you intend to do. So if you do fall, then it's going to be very helpful for them to see and point that out to you. So motivated is not just a feeling. It's something that you create. Your environment is very much counted on the fact that you are looking for people to help you stay motivated, even when you don't feel like it. What's my next thing? What have I learned today? Learning essentially what I said, that it's really important to stay motivated by staying connected to community. And, I listened to a podcast yesterday, and instead of I did listen to a podcast, but what I did today was implement what I have learned and put it into action immediately. I think sometimes it can be very enticing to just kind of be in this carousel of learning and not really doing anything. You're kind of storing it, but you're not putting to action what you just learned. That's the best way to learn. And all the things that I've ever accomplished in my life was always based on the space of, I have learned and applied what it is that I'm doing immediately, and just keep doing it until I'm able to kind of document and record some progress and change, either for or against. Either one. It remains to be seen, but I think it's more important that you do. What actions have I taken? Like I said before, just reaching out, still keeping consistent with this channel. The progress that I'm making is never going to happen within a day. It's not going to happen within a week. It's not going to happen in a month. But I think still showing up and recording what I'm doing or what I'm not doing is important. So that way people can really see what success and failure really looks like. So what am I planning? What am I planning next week to be like? I think more of this, but more intentionality. There is a time tracker that I'm using right now. It's called Toggle Tracker, in which I'm able to kind of document and record the time that I'm taking and spending in order for me to know, when the day passes, how much time did I put towards, studying, how much time did I spend towards writing, whatever it is. And I recorded 2 actions today. One for specifically writing, and the other one was for just Action Academy. I would love to see how long I spend time kind of talking with individual customers, but I just need to build a habit before I start getting wild ambitions. Next question is this working or not? I'd say this is still working because I'm still talking with people on a daily or weekly basis that, always tell me, what are the changes that are happening in their life, the changes that allow them to work towards their vision and their goals. And it is comforting for me to see. So I know it's working for somebody. So if it's working for somebody, it's going to be working for me as well. My diet was fairly normal. I do intend to fast just so I can gain some clarity over some things that I'm working on. Diet is something I have been intending to incorporate into my life for the last 2 years. I've been successful at it, but I want to be more consistent. I don't know if it's going to be twice a year, or if it's going to be once every quarter. I just don't want to leap in. I do want to do some research before moving forward. Steps today. I don't know my steps. My phone should be somewhere here, but it's not here, which means that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. If my phone's not around, that means I'm being productive. So that's good news. My morning routine, I got halfway done. I have not journaled in a while, and I feel as though that I have to trade off activities. Either I'm doing one thing or I'm doing the other, but never both at the same time. But I have been fairly consistent when it comes to the space of recording in my journal, and I want to get back to that. So that is something that I am saying on here publicly, and I will be continuing with that. Short summary on other projects. I had my an editor call with my editor, and some great revelations came out, and I have homework that's due less than a week. I've already started that, and that's what I've been documenting and recording my time for, so I know exactly how much time I'm spending. I don't anticipate it should take too many more hours. I like to get it done sooner than later, so I can start working on some other things that I need to spend more time on. And that's all I got right now. I don't want to get inundated with too many different project ideas that I'm working on, but what's important is that not how many projects, but being intentional in the time that I spend on it. So the hours spent on my goals is something that I just kind of mentioned. Like I said, the app that I'm using is Toggle Track. Don't know if it's really working. I think the more I use it, the better it's going to be. So just maintain consistency in that space. It's going to be important. And number on financials, still 0, but that's okay, because the numbers on financials will grow. And the reason why I know it will grow is because I shouldn't be focusing on the amount of money that I'm bringing in at the current moment. That's because what I need to be focusing in on is how much time that I have, and what am I spending. The more time that I spend, the more consistency I gain here, the more skills I will be able to develop. The more skills I'll be able to develop is going to hopefully coincide with how many connections that I'm making daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly. So the more knowledge, the more connections, and that's when I anticipate deal flow to kind of come in for residential properties. And after that, then turning zeros into commas and just money, more money than I'm making right now. So that's what I have for my weekly progress. As far as, retail life, I know I mentioned before in a previous video that the repetitive nature of retail can be a little demoralizing. That's neither here or there. I've shared some of my dissatisfaction in that space because I find it's better to vocalize. You don't have to necessarily complain. And that was something that I shared with some of my coworkers today. One of the things that I had shared was, controlling the things that you have control over. The things that you have control over is your reaction, your countenance, your wisdom. And if you're lacking in that space, you want to cling to people that do have that. And they don't necessarily have to be in your store. If those people aren't there, absolutely look online, because you can make immediate decisions now, but it's going to be really important for you to study the people that are better at managing self-expectations and building towards change. Change is never immediate, although I've seen many people rage quit before in my time. I find that that's not really helpful. So what does that really do for you when you quit and there's no backup plan? Surely it can move you to do some truly awesome, outrageous things that most people aren't even aware of. But nevertheless, learning how to be uncomfortable, learning how to be comfortable with comfortable is something that I have learned being at the job. That doesn't mean that you're settling for your job. It just means that you know what you're worth and what you're willing to work on in the meantime. So that's what I had shared with them. I think specifically for people who work retail, and that's virtually anything that's customer facing, you must understand how much time you're spending at work. When you understand how much time that you're spending at work, you will begin to value the time that you are out of work. So for me, I will work full time, so that's 40 hours a week. I have an hour lunch that's unpaid, that's in the middle of my work schedule. 4 hours in, an hour break, 4 hours out. So it's 9 hours. And then if you're aiming for 8 hours of sleep, you're gonna get a number. That number is going to be in total with everything else that you're gonna be doing for the week. So I'll do the equation for you in one of these videos because it's important to understand exactly how much time that you have. And once you understand how much time you have, where does that time go? Time can go for lots of different things. It can go for family, it can go for friends, it can go for, phone and just mindlessly scrolling. But just taking charge of your time, taking an account for the time that you're spending is going to be extremely important, because then you'll know what it is that you're struggling with and what you aim to do in the future. So for me, what I've learned and what I'll share with you is that there's 8 hours in the day, 1 hour in between, time to get to work, time to get back. That's your travel time. So, but it's still not done yet. The time that you spend in the morning, I have found is really helpful to see, is typically the time that it takes for you to decompress. Decompressing is a very important trait, specifically for retail workers, because I've asked around. I'm going to continue asking around because this is something that I've seen that has been very helpful to me. And most people do it without even realizing it. But when you're in the day and you are talking with customers, the customers of the customers, if you have a bad interaction, the person that you speak to next doesn't deserve what happened with the previous interaction. And most people who are watching this video can relate to some degree. We've all been at a public city office. We've all been at the DMV, and I think we kind of all laugh internally about how frustrating that experience is, because it all appears as though that they don't care. That I'm sure they do. They just had a really terrible interaction that they haven't been able to kind of reset themselves from. So, you don't want to have that interaction bleed into another one, because that means you're not in control of your emotions. So just taking a moment to reset. That can be a breath, that can be just a cup of water, that can just closing your eyes just for a minute in the chaos of it all, and controlling what it is that you can control and letting go of what you cannot. Extremely important. And I impress that upon you, because when I learned that, that is something that truly helped me. So I say this to say, we are extremely repetitive creatures. So whatever you do to set yourself up in the morning is going to be the same thing that you set yourself up at the end of your workday. So, for me, it takes me about around 30 minutes to get ready for all the things that I need to do before I start my journey to work. So if it takes you about 30 minutes to get ready, it should take you approximately 30 minutes to decompress from the day. You deserve that. And now I know I've already heard a lot of people say this and say, either that's a great idea, which it is, decompressing after a day of loud noises, sounds, requests, and complaints all day is not normal. I'm not saying you should do it. It's important, but decompressing, it should be included in your work schedule for mental health, clarity, and perseverance. I would say that it's important to schedule your decompression time. Now, what I've heard in return is some people don't have the ability to schedule that. Maybe there isn't a way to schedule that. Maybe you have, children. Maybe you have another job that requires you to be there. Maybe you have a demanding spouse, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but something that requires your attention where you're not able to decompress. But you do give yourself time to get ready. And, when you're going into work, you want to be presentable. You want to take care of yourself. You're brushing your teeth. You're making sure you look presentable. If you're doing that, it takes you 15 minutes to do that, 15 minutes to decompress, just take it. Just absolutely take it. It's worth it. Is the only thing that I can tell you that it's worth it, because the times where I wasn't doing that and I was rushing into the next thing, it absolutely affected my countenance, and it absolutely affected the relationships of those that were nearest to me in proximity. So it's important. And like I said, I'd like to revisit this topic because I just decided to record because I wanted to make sure I was consistent in recording and posting, sharing with you what my journey and progress was. So the progress is I'm still making progress, and I'm really excited for some more connections that I've made today that I'm going to follow up with on tomorrow. It's not a lot, but again, it's not about taking leapfrogs. It's about the consistency, especially if this isn't something that you've been used to, and you may be like me, who starts the race and starts sprinting, and then all of a sudden you kind of fizzle out. The problem isn't ability, because you're able to do it. The challenge is, are you able to maintain those changes that you're introducing into your environment, into your space, into your psyche? Once you do that, you'll be able to do things forever. That's what I believe. I'm under the sole belief that it is true. So that's all I have right now. I'm not really going to go into too much more because I am prioritizing sleep. So I'm going to do that. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.